Well, hello my folks, welcome back to KJ's channel. It was a crazy weekend. Well, not really crazy, but it was extremely cold. So we got back Friday night from our Billings trip, and then Saturday and Sunday. Sunday morning when we got up, it was 37 below zero, and so we had a really small turnout at church because when it's that cold, the ranchers have to take care of water. Cars don't want to start, equipment doesn't want to start, everything just doesn't work well at all when it's that cold. So we had a small crowd at church, but we did it online so people can watch it there. So that was a good time. But it's just been an extremely cold weekend, and so we've been huddled here into the house. This week, few things on the agenda, not a horribly busy week and with things going on. So that is good. I guess today I want to talk to you about keeping your mind in the right place as kind of a small town pastor. It's easy to get pessimistic, and I think it is in a lot of things. But there's certain things that affect a small town pastor that make you a little more pessimistic. I think it just has to do with the what's the word I'm looking for? If you're in a big church and you have one person that's being, vocal and ornery, that's not as bad as when you're in a small church and you have one person that's doing it. The percentages are different. So anyway, let's run. Well, that run is done, and I'm working from home today, getting some reading done. Just because we're going to be down at the church later, and 2 cars, you know what it is. Bonsai's doing good. Orchid still got a big flower on it. Yeah, let me talk to you a little bit about what I was saying before. Pastors have a tendency to get discouraged anyway. You go back and you look over history, there's a lot of well-known pastors that struggle with depression and things of that sort. But it's really easy to get discouraged in a smaller church because you just see the percentages. So yesterday we had just a handful of people in church, and if you don't consider things properly, you'll let that get you down, because we work Sunday to Sunday, and you can tend to carry everything from the previous Sunday through that week, and you really just need to realize the reason that it was like that. I think that's part of the problem that we had with COVID was pastors weren't seeing their people, they weren't seeing the impact of their lives on a regular basis, and they started to get quite discouraged. Most of the pastors that I've talked to are just tired. They're continuing to push along, but they're hoping for a little glimpse of an understanding that things are working. So what you need to do is find different metrics to measure in order to get a more accurate understanding of what's going on in your church. What we do, or what I do, is in talking to people, through Facebook or any other type of interaction that we have a Bible study tonight, things like that, just kind of see where they are spiritually and emotionally. Things that just kind of give you a better understanding how your people are doing, other than seeing them on Sunday. And if a church is geared around the activities of a church, then you expect to see your people and interact with them on a regular basis. And when that doesn't happen, it's hard to do that. So you need to find a different way of measuring how your folks are doing and what the mindset is among the church. I thought it was kind of interesting. In the first couple of years that we got here, I noticed that the worst storms happen on Sunday. Here, what we have for environmental problems that lead people not to be able to make it to church is during the spring, it rains. and we have extremely bad gumbo, and most of our roads are not paved. So the mud is extremely horrible, and it's just a real big pain to get all the way into town during that time. During the summer, we do pretty good. We don't, most people don't miss church very often. In the fall, you have, again, the weather that kind of goes back and forth between the mud and that type of thing. And then in the winter, we have days when it's extremely cold and equipment doesn't work that well, or we have really, really deep snow, and the farmers and the ranchers have to plow the snow to get to their cows, and that just takes time, and especially when it's cold and stuff wants to break. So really our worst time of year environmentally are winter and spring. Tends to cause people to miss, and those storms tend to come on Sundays and be when people can't gather together. I think that's a plan of the enemy. So what I've done is any church, a pastor should not make their people feel guilty when they can't make it in. But as a pastor, I understand the importance of being in a local congregation. So you just need to find a better metric. It's not just church attendance on Sundays. It's how are they doing spiritually and interact. So we have a private Facebook group for our church where we can interact with one another, and I do a midweek meditation in there, kind of talk to our people, and I can see who watches and who interacts and kind of see how people are doing and talk to them. So yeah,